Hello. Let me share this. For those of you who are going to look at this later, I was on earlier. This is my first time going live on YouTube. Well, second or third time, because first two times I didn't know how to change the camera on this Chromebook. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share it in my group so we can get started. And see if I can find it. And figure out how to share it. I'm very new to this. So okay, I'm gonna share in my group. Give me a second. Turn that down. And today, hello. Let me get with it. This is my first time. Those of you who know me know that I stay on Facebook Live. This is my first time doing YouTube Live. So if you are on here, go ahead and put something in the comments. This is going to be really quick. I'm going to do the first part of a epoxy tray. So it's not going to be that long. Give me a second. I'm very excited about this. And please don't be so hard on me because today is my first time actually doing this live, and I will get better. So I'm going to share this in my Facebook group. And then we'll get started. So today, I'm going to be doing the first part of an epoxy tray. A tray made with epoxy mold. 1 minute. Okay, so we good. Let me get my laser butt up. So the first thing, I need to be able to see myself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the stuff I got to do this epoxy tray. So let me point my camera. I didn't realize this was going to be so difficult. So, hey Merlinda, what's going on, sis? Just bear with me. I'm going to get better. I'm going to try to do this. So I have my things laid out for this epoxy tray. So I have my mold, and I will be selling these molds in 2 weeks, baby. They'll be here in 2 weeks. So if you're looking for a mold for a tray, or if you're looking for domino molds, I have them too. I'm out right now, but I have them coming. This is a domino mold, so I'm doing dominoes, but we're going to be concentrating on the tray. So the first thing I'm going to do, I just took a tray out of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some just regular packing tape just to get some of the glitter off that I had from my last mold. I had a lot of glitter. I had this gold glitter. So I'm going to get that taken care of, get some of that glitter off. And to clean your mold, I've been looking and researching, and a lot of people use tape. Some people use lukewarm water with mild dish detergent, but mine is not really that dirty. I got a couple of little pieces on there I want to get out of glitter. But actually, if some get in this particular mold, it wouldn't matter because this tray is actually going to go with some black and gold dominoes that I did, and so that's gold glitter on there, so it wouldn't really matter, but I'm gonna go ahead and get as much of it off as I can. So you have your mold, of course you have your epoxy, and then I have the tools I work with. I have gloves, I have an N95, and I'm gonna put that on before I start. I have plastic cups. I use these as my measuring cups because I'm going to be pouring a lot of epoxy today. Normally, I would use these little ones, which I also have for sale, but I'm going to be pouring a lot, so I'm going to actually use this, and I'm going to use the line on a cup as my measuring point. So I'm just going to clean the rest of this off of here. And I'm going to pour my epoxy. I have my mixing stick. Now, this is what I use to mix my epoxy. Look like a little plastic knife, but it actually, hey, Bridget, it's actually something I picked up at the Dollar Tree. It's called palette knife set. And I love using these as opposed to these popsicle sticks, which I also use. But these I throw away. These I just wipe off at the end and use over and over again. Again, they came from the Dollar Tree. I have my glitter, a bottle of alcohol, and that'll be for the bubbles. And I'm not going to color it today, but I will do that on part 2. This is just part 1, and I'm going to be pouring it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie up all this hair because it keeps flipping on my head. So we're going to pour the epoxy. And when you're pouring epoxy, the most important thing for your epoxy is to make sure it is 1-to-1 part A and part B. Okay? And I have extra molds here that's also a part of the set in case I make too much. I have the jar, and I have an ashtray mold, but that's just in case I make too much epoxy, because today we only going to do the first part. So the first part of this tray that I'm going to do is the sides of the tray. Okay? So the reason I'm doing it in different parts because I make mine different colors. So the side of the tray I'm going to make, and that's going to be black in my mind right now. I might change why I'm doing it. But that's going to be black glitter like this domino. I don't know if you can see that. So it's going to be black glitter like this domino. And then the base of it is going to be clear with, I haven't decided yet. So that'll be important too. So by tomorrow, I'll be done decided by that. So for those of you who don't know me, as I'm pouring this epoxy, I will tell you a little bit about myself. I'm going to go ahead, and if I'm muffled, I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on my N95. Make sure I put it on the right way. Sometimes I put it on upside down. I'm ready. I'm ready. So with the epoxy and the toxicity of it, I am not a doctor. And all I will tell you is please look and research the epoxy prior to you using it. Because there are some chemicals in there. They react with people differently. I haven't had a problem, but again, I'm not a doctor. And what I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and move the silicone mat out the way so that my cups are sitting flat, because my silicone mat looked like it was kind of wrinkled. And again, we want this to be 1-to-1. Let's get it in the same spot. Some people use their not the measuring cup, but the scale, and that's fine. Probably even better than what I'm doing because I'm eyeballing it. And I try to get it right at the edge of that line. And what I will do now is I will move that into another cup to stir. And I'm going to use a solo cup. This is a 9-ounce cup, a 9-ounce cup. This is a 16-ounce cup, which I didn't fill this up so it'll be able to fit in here and have enough room to get it all mixed up. I'm gonna make sure I get as much of this out. We don't want to leave none behind. When I do epoxy, make sure I have extra molds. I just ordered some tiny ones, like the little ones that they use for jewelry and everything. I ordered some of them so that if I just have a tiny amount left, I won't waste it. Then I try to get out for the simple fact that I have mixed some epoxy, and it's about 6 months later, and it's still sticky because I didn't mix it correctly. So I try to make sure I mix it correctly. As I was saying, I let you know a little bit about myself. My name is Stephanie Robinson, and for those of you who don't know me, I own Double J Graphix by STEF. It's a company, just a crafting company. I do customized items, t-shirts, keychains, bags, you name it, I do it, okay? So with the vinyl, with sublimation, I like sublimation a little bit more, but what I said I was gonna do, I craft a lot, but usually I'll craft, and after I finish crafting, I'll take my little videos and pictures and all that kind of stuff and start putting it together. So I decided, since I do live on Facebook so much, I was gonna try this YouTube live. What I didn't realize on the YouTube live is that you have to do it from a desktop or a laptop. You can't do it from your phone. So it took me a minute to figure it out, how to do it. And I have this new Chromebook, and I couldn't figure out how to switch the cameras on the Chromebook because I guess my daughter had switched one of the cameras. So when I tried to come earlier, I actually had to end it twice because I could not figure out where that damn camera was pointed at. I was in the military for 23 years. I'm from Anniston, Alabama, so I am Southern, and I know you can tell by my voice. Those of you who have been checking me out on this channel, plus those of you in my Facebook group, know that I'm country as heck. Also, another thing that I would tell you all before it happened is my nickname, pouring cups, these are just regular paper party cups. My nickname is the Custom Crafter. So I'm letting you know that ahead of time in case it come out. I usually say excuse me, but sometimes I curse. So what I'm doing, let me see if I can get you, is I'm mixing. I'm making sure that I keep the mixer in the cup the whole time. The less you bring it out and in, the less chance you have of the bubble. I really, and what I'm doing, I'm mixing it to make it clear. So again, I keep my knife, whatever I'm mixing with, all the way down to the bottom of the cup. And I just go back and forth real slow just to make sure I'm getting everything mixed up. Again, in epoxy, it's very important that there is a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, I'm sure if you like 0.000000023 off, it won't make a difference. But as I said before, I have did some epoxy, and I believe I did it back in December of last year. That stuff's still sticky, so I try to make sure that I do it as close as I can, mixing slowly and making sure I incorporate all of part A and part B. And it's getting a little clear. It looks really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the sides of the tray black. So I will mix black glitter. I'm going to do glitter today instead of using the acrylic paint or alcohol ink. I'm going to actually do the glitter because I want that shine. And all I did was take the glitter and I put it in my pouring cup. And I'm going to add the epoxy straight to that. So for those of you that are new, you don't need to do anything to prepare your mold except to make sure it's clean. Got a little piece of epoxy in there. Just make sure it's clean. You don't have to put any Crisco on it or none of that kind of stuff. It's ready to pour as soon as you get it. Also, I just caution you, when you're not using your molds, keep them wrapped up in plastic. Once you get them, especially if you buy them from me, they'll come in some kind of plastic cover. So once you're not using them, make sure you keep that cover and put it back in the cover. For me, I usually stick mine in a sandwich, not a sandwich bag, the big gallon bag. So that's what I use. These are new. I just got these trays. So they're pretty good. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this and let me put my silicone pad back down. These are new cabinets in my garage, and I don't want to epoxy my cabinets, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that silicone mat back down in case some fall. I won't have to worry about it because, of course, it's silicone and it won't stick. So the only thing I do is once it dries, just peel it off. So let me grab a paper towel. So I'm just going to directly pour this epoxy into this cup with the glitter on. I'm going to do a little bit at a time, a little bit more. And all I'm doing now is mixing, trying to mix enough to do the sides of my tray with the black. I just want to do the sides because I want this part to be clear. So I'm going to do the sides and then I'm going to pour a clear coat on this. So you'll see what I'm doing. So that's how it's going to turn out. I think I want just a tad bit more. Got a little hip hop jazz in the background. Again, my first time on live on YouTube, so I didn't want them to Facebook me by putting, that copyright thing, so I figured let me just play some instrumental. Because I'm usually in here jamming when I'm doing my work. So let's move this out of the way. Move this somewhere where I won't drop it because I'm clumsy. I'm a messy crafter. Besides the custom crafter, I'm a messy crafter too. So what I'm gonna do is I usually just kind of pull the lip of it back and just crease the cup and pour in the lip. I have silicone measuring cups, but I don't know. I just grabbed this because it was over here. And I'm gonna pour in the middle. Again, I just want the sides black. Then I'm gonna do a clear coat on top of this. And it's spreading through there. And I'm just cleaning up where I dropped some. I'm gonna show you what I got going on here. Grab that Chromebook and show you. So all I did was pour in the sides just a little bit below the bottom portion. So just a little bit below that, I poured it in. So I have a lot of this black left. I've made too much. So what I'm gonna do with the black is I'm gonna go ahead and pour it in an ashtray mold. No wasting dang on epoxy here. Trying to get all of it out of there because I pour a little bit more so I can fill up this, fill up the mold. I pour a little bit more after I finish with the tray. So next I'm gonna take the clear epoxy, and I'm gonna use clear epoxy on the bottom. So I'm gonna take the clear epoxy and I just take this. So storm out there, and I clean it off with a little paper towel, stir it a little bit, and baby, it's warm. It's working. It is working because I can feel it warming up. It used to scare me. I used to think the cup was gonna catch on fire. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in my tray mold. And I just want enough to cover the bottom because I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a design, and if I do a design, which one I'm going to do. So I'm going to show you the level I got that to, because that's going to form my bottom. The black is below that. It's going to be black, then it's going to be clear. I could have very well made that a color if I was doing different colors. This one is going to be mine. I really haven't figured out yet what kind of design I want on it. But once I get that done, I'm going to let that sit about 5 to 7 minutes. And the reason I'm going to let that sit is I'm going to let all the bubbles, the air bubbles, move to the top. And then I'm going to use my alcohol to spray on them, add some more epoxy to this one. I wish I had that small tray, because I definitely made too much. So what I will do is, thank you, Melinda. What I will do is, since this is going with my black and gold, I'm thinking what I will do is I'll do a bottom layer on this. This is a jar part. This will be the jar. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a bottom layer on this, and I'm going to make it black. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it in this cup. And I need to save just a little bit because I am doing a glitter jar that goes with another tray. So I'm going to save a little bit of epoxy so I can do this glitter jar, and that goes with this tray that I did the other day. So I'm going to save this. I didn't have the epoxy mold at the time. It just came for the jar. So I actually took a small mason plastic jar and put glitter on it. So let's put a little black in here. And that's the good thing about having different molds. If you have something left over, then you just pour it into another mold and use that instead of what I used to do. And that was throw the epoxy away. So the epoxy been in there, I guess, about 5 minutes. I just look and see when the bubbles rise to the top. They're rising to the top. Let me see if you can get I don't want to drop my Chromebook in there, but the bubbles have rose to the top. And so what I'll do now is I'll take my alcohol and I'll just lightly spray across the top of there so I can hit them bubbles. And it just pops the bubbles so well. When I do that, I make sure I go ahead and get the alcohol that hits the side of the molds, because I don't want my molds to dry out. So I don't let the alcohol sit on there. I go ahead and I wipe that off. So we're gonna do the bottom of this, and this epoxy really working because this stuff is hot as heck in this cup. It might be just the right amount. Okay. Let that settle in there. So that's basically it for part two. Part one, I'm sorry. That's basically it for part one. What I do is I let this sit. I usually let it sit about 4 to 6 hours if I'm doing it in the daytime. And then I put the second layer on there. Sometimes I have 2 layers, sometimes I have 3 layers, but I will come back. I'm looking for the bubbles. I see some more bubbles on there. If it's a big bubble, I usually just take like a toothpick or something and bust it, but these are real tiny bubbles. And I don't want a lot of bubbles. You can definitely take your barbecue lighter, or you can take your heat gun and go across it real fast. I just found that the alcohol was right next to me, so that's what I use. But put that to the side. This is part one of my tray. So I'm gonna move to another area. So I can take off this little mess. I have the fan going over there. Again, I'm burning up. I'm sweating up a storm. Grab it. Again, this is part one. And I usually let that sit about 4 to 6 hours. So I might do part two tonight. I'm kind of liking this Facebook Live. I got to go back and see because honestly, when I first did it, I could not get it together. But I will be doing more YouTube Live. I'll be doing more YouTube Live. I'm always on Facebook. So I get my channel popping and to bring you some stuff. I just have to remember when I'm crafting. I want y'all to see my little my apron. I just made this apron. So I bought these aprons during Christmas time for some of the stuff I was doing for my customers. However, once I got these things, they look like little kid aprons. So I just stuck it on them because they were so tight. When I got ready to do this live, I said, let me do a apron. And this apron is sublimation on white glitter. So I do have a video out for that, but I'll probably do it again. During these 2 weeks that I'm taking off, you see what I do when I take off. I work. So I'm going to go ahead and close out. Thank you all for looking at the video. Part two is coming up in another 4 to 6 hours. I want to personally thank you for watching this video. If you already haven't, please hit the subscribe button and like the video. Tell your friends about it. If you are a crafter and you already haven't, please join my Facebook group. The link is in the description below for my Facebook group. The link is in the description below for the Facebook buy-in group. And my web below. So if you like these trays, 2 weeks I will have more trays. If you like dominoes, in 2 weeks I have domino mold, and I will do some more dominoes sometime next week, probably the beginning of next week. I have some more to do, so I'll do them on YouTube Live. So thank you. Y'all make this first time easy. And I hope to see you later. Thank you, guys. Let me figure out how to turn this off. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.